Since Abraham D. Andrews became River Falls' first mayor in 1885, 34 different people have served as mayor in the city's history. None has served longer than the current mayor, Dan Toland. After assuming the role in April of 2012, Mayor Toland has now served the city for 13 years, surpassing the run of Maynard E. Hoffman in the 1950s and 60s. Despite growing up in River Falls, Mayor Toland never dreamed of becoming the mayor one day. It wasn't until someone suggested his wife run for mayor that he ever considered the possibility. On this episode of the Kinni Cast, Mayor Toland recalls his first election, talks about how he balances a full-time job in addition to serving as mayor, and of course, sneaks in some opinions about his beloved Green Bay Packers. That's all right now on a brand new episode of the Kinni Cast. Welcome back to another episode of the Kinni Cast. Today on the podcast, we have maybe the biggest Packers fan in River Falls. He can argue whether he is or not. He also happens to be the mayor, Dan Toland. Mayor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Tyler?
Good. Do you think you are the biggest Packer fan in town?
Oh, I don't know if I'm the bigger. There's a lot of big Packer fans in town. I like to support them. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember.
Sure. We'll maybe get into some Packer banter at some point, but we're going to talk a little bit about you today. So I know you weren't born in River Falls, but you moved here, I think, as a kid. Maybe just kind of share a little bit about moving to River Falls and growing up here and what you remember about growing up in town.
I've been here now, I believe, 50 years. This year would be my 50th year here.
Okay.
I moved here when I was 15, 14, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
I believe it's around 50 years. It's pretty close.
Sure.
When I was younger, I had an aunt and uncle that lived out here. So we'd come out all the time and visit them. And I used to like to come out and putz around. He had a little hobby farm. So I used to like to come out there. So when Mom and Dad said they're going to move out here, I was like, yeah, that's a phenomenal idea. So I was real happy, And I like when we moved out here, I liked the feeling of, it was very secure. Small, secure, is a small town. It didn't take you long to know all the people. You know, I mean, I don't remember what the population was back then. But
quite a bit smaller back then. Though.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was 7,000 maybe, 8,000 maybe. I don't need, be honest with you, I never paid attention to it. I just knew moving from, because I was born on the east side of St. Paul.
Okay.
So moving from Oakdale and that area over there, coming over here was such a huge difference in, the amount of people and traffic and everything. I just love the whole feeling of a small town and everything.
Sure.
So that's what I really remember about moving over here is I had no issues with it. I wasn't worried about it. It was nice. I enjoyed it.
No, and a lot of kids maybe don't think about staying in their hometown forever, the town they grow up in. I know my wife is from Hudson and never wanted to move back to Hudson, but we did. Yeah. Was that, I guess, staying in River Falls, as an adult, was that something you ever thought of? And did you ever dream of becoming mayor? My guess to that is probably no, but what about the first part?
No, never dreamed. No, never. I never thought I'd be in any kind of elected position of anything. Never occurred to me.
Yeah.
But growing up here and then, back then, you got to remember, I graduated high school 45 years ago. So back then it was, you go to high school, you'd get a girlfriend, maybe one of you would go to college, maybe. And it was just kind of this natural progression of you'd get out of high school, you get married, you have kids, and it never occurred to me to move anywhere else because everything was here. I worked here in town. My job was here. We lived here. We'd lived here for a long time. Started having kids. Her family was here. Part of my family was here. It never occurred to me probably as I got older now, over the last 15 years, I've bring it up a few times to Joni about, hey, do you ever think maybe we might want to move somewhere different? And she's like, and then you get to the point where now we got so many grandkids, it's like she can't leave that.
Right.
So I'm guessing this will be the spot.
Yeah.
Forever.
So it was 2012 that you became mayor, I guess. Leading up to that, what drove you to run for mayor? You said it was something you never really thought of, but I guess take me back to that time and kind of what that whole process was like.
I never thought of it. I came home from work one day and a friend of the family used to be a St. Croix County commissioner.
Okay.
And he was in the shop one day and he was bugging Joni, teasing her really about running for mayor of River Falls because Joni can get kind of opinionated sometimes and all that. And you should run for mayor of River Falls. And it was when Don Richards was mayor and he's coming up and you'd be a great mayor. You do a great job. And she's like, no, I don't got time. Yada, yada. And we just laughed about it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, so the next day I'm thinking, that'd be kind of interesting. I wonder what it takes to, and to be perfectly honest with you, before then, I never paid any attention to City Hall. I never paid attention to, I couldn't tell you who our elected officials were at the time.
And, which I think is not uncommon. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of people,
which I think is pretty common. You're busy with, we owned a business and kids, and I started looking into it a little bit, and I thought, hey, that might be interesting.
Yeah.
So it just kind of went from there.
When you did win, I understand the race was pretty close. What do you recall about that process? And I think there was a recount. Is that right?
Yeah, it was the whole race was such a weird time. It was such a weird thing. It was. I remember when I decided I wanted to run for mayor. I came in, and Luann Hecht was the clerk at the time.
Okay.
And I came in and talked to Luann, and I said, "Hey, what do I have to do to be mayor?" And she said, she kind of looked at me funny. She goes, "Well, what do you want? What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I want to run to be mayor. What do I have to do?" And she explained it all to me, and there wasn't a lot involved. And she goes, "Well, you sure you don't want to start like on a board or something to kind of figure out what's going on?" Nah, I'm going to start at the top and work our way down.
Yeah.
And then the night of the election, she called me up. We're at the shop, and we got a bunch of friends over there, and we're all, kind of anxious.
Sure.
And she calls me up, and it's like, oh, really nervous. And she goes, "Dan, you won." Wow. I just like, oh, are you kidding me? I'd be honest with you, I had never once thought I would win.
Really?
I mean, Don had been mayor for quite a while.
Yeah.
Everybody kept telling me that, oh, it's hard to beat the incumbent. Nobody knows you. And I said, well, that's a good thing, maybe. Nobody knows me.
Right.
And she told me I won, but then she told me I only won by so many votes. It was only I think it was 9 at the
Single
time.
digits, I think.
Yeah, it was 9. I think it was 7 or 9 at the time. And, then she said, well, he wants to do a recount. So they did a recount. Then there was something else after that. It was, I want to say it was at least 3 or 4 weeks before she could officially tell me that I was the official mayor.
Huh.
And by then I'm like, Luann, you kind of sucked all the fun out of it for me. It's like, yeah. But it was really exciting and very intimidating at the time, because it's like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into now? So right away I start reading up on what it's like to be a mayor. And of course, everything I read had nothing to do with like a small town like River Falls and the way we run. But then I came in, had my first couple of meetings with Scott. Scott Simpson was the city administrator. Mm-hmm. He put my mind at ease. We talked about, I had a million questions, and we talked about all the different things. And anyways, it was a very exciting time.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. Well, you explained that it was a big learning curve, I think, kind of figuring things out. But as far as the role itself of mayor goes for the city of River Falls, how do you view your role or that role of mayor as it kind of fits into the big picture?
I think my biggest role as mayor in the city of River Falls is to make sure I make it as safe as I can for everybody. Make sure we're providing them with the best city services, whether that's police, fire, ambulance. We own all our utilities, all great utilities. Mm-hmm. Infrastructure is a big deal. We got to make sure we have great infrastructure. Otherwise, everything just crumbles.
Yeah.
If we don't have good infrastructure, we don't have good roads, we don't have any of that. Making sure everybody is safe as they possibly can. I think that's my very first responsibility, I guess you would say, as mayor.
Sure.
And then, I work close with Scott. I work with all the department heads. Scott, it's more of a case of where I look at like a 10,000 foot picture.
Sure.
I talk with Scott about things we want to accomplish. Kind of a liaison between me and the council meets with them too. But I meet with Scott to make sure we're on the same page as to, okay, we talked about this, we want to get this done. I want to do this, or the council wants to do this. What are we doing to make sure we get that done? And Scott kind of carries out, he's like my general on the field. He kind of carries out my orders and the council's orders. So going back to your original question, I think my biggest thing is, as mayor, is to make sure everybody feels as safe as possible, and make sure the city's as accepting to everybody as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And some people probably realize, and maybe not everybody does, that mayor of River Falls, that's not your full-time job. And in fact, very few cities in Wisconsin, or probably even in the country, maybe Milwaukee or Madison, have full-time mayors, or that's all they do. But you have another job outside of this. Maybe share a little bit about when you're not at City Hall, when you're not serving as mayor, what are you doing? Yeah.
So if I'm not doing the mayor thing, me and my wife Joni, we own Pearson Florist in town, so we do that. But there, I'm kind of basically the head custodian. I do mostly repairs and make sure the buildings are standing. And
you're not putting all the bouquets together?
Nope. And then I'm a part-time delivery guy.
Sure.
So I do all that. Joni does all the hard work. I get to do all the glory stuff.
Yeah.
I get to bring all her beautiful finished product to the customers on the weekends, anyways.
Sure.
And then my full-time job is I'm a manufacturing engineer technician for Phillips Medisize up in Hudson. So that's what I do 8 hours a day during the day. So and then when I'm not doing either one of those, I'm doing city hall stuff.
When you first became mayor back in 2012, what surprised you the most, just maybe in general, about that role, or about what it is to be a mayor?
The first surprising thing was how much there is to know. I mean, I wasn't expecting the amount of things you have to know, or that you should at least understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still learn new stuff all the time.
Sure.
But it was, the first 2 years went by in a flash because it's so overwhelming. There's so much to learn, so much to do, so much to practice and try to understand. That, and the fact that I thought, when I ran for mayor and I became mayor, I thought, oh, small town, it's going to be so easy. We're going to get so much stuff done. It's just going to be bang, bang, bang. And we'll get everything done we want to do in a hurry. Well, I kind of forgot. I didn't take into account the fact that we're part of 2 counties,
right?
Part of the state, part of the federal government, and we are surrounded by 4 townships,
right.
5 townships, 4 townships and a couple of little ones. So you have to work with all that. So it didn't go nothing goes near as fast as you think it would in a small town.
Right.
So it took a while to get used to that. I found that kind of disappointing. Oh, this is going to be so great. We're going to get so much stuff done, which we have. We've done a ton of stuff, and we still do, but it's never quite as fast as you want it to be.
Right.
So,
from those early days, or the early, I guess, couple of years, obviously enjoyed it. You ran for re-election and have continued to do so. What did you enjoy most, about those first couple of years?
It was nice to, and this is, I talk about council members and I talk to board members. It's a great, for me, it was really eye-opening to find out and learn why the city does things the way they do them. Why do we plow streets? Some basic, why do we plow streets the way we plow them?
Yeah.
Why do we do this? Why do we do that? And what's the reason behind we do it that way and not this way? So it was kind of neat to be able to look behind the curtain a little bit. And that's why I encourage people all the time to get on boards. Come, let me know you want to be on a board. And when it opens, we can get you on boards as soon as we can, because it is a good way for people to understand and learn, to look behind the curtain and see how things operate and why we do things the way, especially if you don't agree with the way we do things. It's good to learn that, so I thought that was exciting. It was I found it very, very satisfying to be able to help a citizen come in that gets a hold of me, or they would come in and they would be upset about something, or they just couldn't understand why we did something the way we did. And 98% of the time, they can come in and you can sit down and talk to them and explain the city's reasoning of why we do things the way we do, or why we made the decision we made. And then they understand it. Yeah. They okay, I guess now I understand it. You can kind of watch it wash over their face. It's like, oh, of course, that makes sense now. So I still find that very rewarding when I can do that. Yeah.
Well, I think I saw one of maybe it was a Pierce County Journal article you were asked about being the longest serving mayor in the history of River Falls, which you are now. And it sounds like that maybe is not something you think about, but have you reflected on that at all?
No,
and what that means?
Never. Every time somebody says it's like, big deal. Does that? So I look at it like, what does that mean? It means I'm having fun doing it. I will say that. I enjoy doing it. I love the direction the city's going. We keep doing great things, and I want to see those things through. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons I run. Or else you could look at it like either that, or I'm just an idiot because nobody else wants to run, and I just keep doing it. But I choose to believe that it's because I really enjoy it, and I have fun doing it.
Well, you mentioned some of the accomplishments and things that have happened since you became mayor in 2012. When you think about all the stuff that's happened during your tenure, what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I think what I'm most proud of is the fact that when it comes to any kind of decisions or things we're looking at, we don't do knee-jerk reactions. Every decision we're looking at, I want to make sure we're looking down the road. How's this going to affect us? And when I say me, I mean staff and city and the city council. Staff and city council, they do a phenomenal job of making sure what we're doing is going to work 15 years from now, 20 years from now? What's this going to do? So we've made these other decisions. Is this going to affect the other decisions? So I work with such capable staff that they make me look like a genius. Let's not get it complicated here. I am not a genius. Staff is phenomenal here at City Hall. Everything they do, it's easy to stand here and they give me, they take a quote from me in the newspaper and I sound like a genius. Well, no, I'm not. I'm smart enough to say yes to a lot of things because staff does great things and they make me look really good. They make the council look really good. As far as things, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we've continued to have consistent growth, that there again, we're not getting so far ahead of ourselves that we're going to get in trouble with infrastructure and stuff like that down the road. Mm-hmm. We're always looking at every development we do, no matter what it is, we look at, okay, how much is this development going to cost us? Can we afford it? Do we have to? Is this going to require more staff? Is it going to require more police? Is it going to require more ambulance? So we look at all that. So when it comes to taxes, it's like we don't get too far over our skis on stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We're always looking at stuff like that. So we're always looking down the road, and I'm really proud of that. Yeah. I think we keep doing a great job on that. And it's little things like that the public doesn't know anything. They don't recognize the stuff that we do like that. That stuff that, because it's not sexy stuff. It's not. Sure. Oh, look, they put up a big building, or right. It's not the sexy stuff. I'm more proud of all the little things that people don't know we do, that goes on behind the scenes, that make this a great city to live in.
Yeah, it's still important stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much small minutia stuff that people don't pay attention to, and that's what really matters when it comes to a city like this, is all that little fine stuff.
For sure.
That's what I'm proud of, that we keep doing stuff like that. Yeah. And the fact that our steady growth over the years is another testament that I'm proud of, the fact that people want to live here. Yeah. People want to move here. People want to live here. They want to be part of what's going on in River Falls. They want to raise their families. They want to work here. They want to do whatever they can to be part of the community. Yeah. So I'm very proud of the staff for everything they do for making that happen.
Absolutely.
So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. You mentioned a little bit earlier about hearing from residents and people in town. They could come in and see you, but you've done other things, whether it's cookout conversations that people can come and see. Every couple of years we've had the National Community Survey. What do you appreciate most just about the chance to hear from residents?
Well, I appreciate the fact that some of them will actually reach out to me. I appreciate the fact that they want to know what the truth is. They want to know what's going on. That makes me happy that people want to know that. I appreciate it when they come and they talk to me, and we can come to an understanding, or we can say, well, this is why we do things, and they may not agree with it, but at least they'll understand why we do it that way. If you really think something's wrong, or you really think you're upset about something, or you really want to complain about something, I have a direct phone number. You can call me. I won't get to it because it rings in my office here at City Hall, but I'll get the voicemail. I have an email. Email me. Set up a meeting. Come and talk to me. We got 7 council members. Come talk to the council members. We have staff online all the time. You can talk to staff. All you got to do is reach out. And what I love is 99% of the people in town do that. That's what they should do. That's what we're here for. Yeah. That's our number one job as mayor, council members, staff, is to help our citizens with whatever they need help with. Yeah.
Well, a couple left here for you. I'm curious about this. So since I started here a little over a year ago, I put you on camera plenty. Dressed you up as Doc Brown for our State of the City video, made you jump in the pool, dressed you up as Uncle Sam. You can be honest. Have you enjoyed doing those sorts of things? And just as another way to kind of connect or maybe share what we're doing.
So when we first started talking about stuff like this, I thought it was a phenomenal idea. I think this is something we've been lacking for years and years and years. And when you come along with all these ideas, and we've talked about them and figured them out, I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love doing it. I think nowadays it's how you reach your people, right? I mean, we can go on and talk about community engagement, and nobody comes to council meetings unless they got to complain about something, which is what we're there for. Right. But even that, all they can do is come and talk they can talk for a couple minutes. I like the fact that they don't have to go to our website and, what's going on, and kind of drudge through all that. I like the fact that we can do this social media stuff. People love watching this stuff. Yeah. We've become such a visual society now that it's great to be able to be part of that. It's great to be able to look at this great thing that's coming up, or look at these great things we're doing, and here, let's have some fun while we do it. I think more people get engaged that way.
Yeah.
I assume people like it. I haven't heard anybody complaining too much about it. So I enjoy it. It's fun to do. And you, Tyler, you've been great getting this stuff going, and you do a great job doing it. It's been fantastic.
It's been fun for me, and you haven't said no to any of my ideas yet. So
no,
that's good.
Well, that might come, but so far we're
testing the limits.
It's been fantastic, yeah.
Well, before we get to the last question that I'll ask everyone on this podcast, I'll open the floor for a minute of Packer banter if you want to predict the season here, since training camp is underway. And,
as a true Packer fan, they're going to the Super Bowl. They're a dynasty born again.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that team lacking except maybe a quarterback.
Not sold on Jordan Love, huh?
I'm not sold on Love yet. We'll see how he does this year, but otherwise we're pretty solid. People can say what they want.
Sure,
it's who we are, but all that is Viking fans. They're just jealous. It's just they've all set it for mediocrity. So God forbid anybody should do good, then they can't stand it. That's a shout out, you Viking fans.
What percent do you think in town is Vikings versus Packers fans?
Oh, I bet it's got to be pretty close to 50-50. I mean, it's probably 60 Packers, 40 Vikings, but there's a lot more Viking fans because we can't stop them at the board anymore. They just keep coming over here, even if we try, but they just keep coming over here. So they know a good thing when they see it. They won't support a good football team, but they'll come support a great city.
There you go. I'm not a Packer fan, so I'll abstain from any comments on that. Yeah. Well,
and it's all fun. This is all fun.
Course,
I've been everywhere I've ever worked. There's always been the rivalry between the Packer and Vikings. It's fun.
Yeah, makes it interesting.
Especially when they're so bad all the time.
Well, last one for you, and this is, like I said, I asked Scott in the first episode, this will be kind of the theme throughout, but when you think about the impact that your work has had or will have on the people of River Falls, what impact do you hope it will have had?
I don't know if my impact will be that great. I think my impact is the fact that most people don't even know who I am. And I think that's a great thing. I think that means we're not doing wrong things. We're not in trouble. We're not doing stupid things. I'm not in front of people apologizing for stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that I can go downtown. 80% of the people I meet have no idea who I am. I think that's a great impact for a mayor to have.
Yeah.
I mean, now unless you're the mayor of some big city where you're always dealing with stuff, that's a whole different story. Yeah. But I think my impact is the fact that people are just happy to live here, and I hope that has something to do with the decisions I've made and the decisions I've been part of with the council and staff, and trying to get projects going and that. But if I'm not remembered, that's okay. I got no problem with that. And I hate to keep harping on staff, but it's staff. They're the ones that do everything. Me and council say, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do that. That's easy to sit in your little chair and say, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do this. Make the right decisions. If you don't have good staff to carry that out, so maybe if I remember for anything, it's that. For making sure we have great staff that does what needs to be done to make this a great community to live in.
There we go.
And that's very important to me, that we have staff that does that.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be a great thing to be remembered for.
Sure.
Don't remember who the mayor was, but boy, he had great staff. They did great things. The city did great things when he was mayor. Yeah. So that'll be perfect.
Well, with that, you're off the hook on your first ever podcast interview, Mayor. I appreciate the time and for sharing more about your background and everything that you've done over the years.
Yeah, hopefully everybody made it to the end of this.
Yeah, I think they will. So appreciate
I appreciate giving me the opportunity. I know it's mostly about me, which maybe next time we can talk about the city more, things going on or whatever. We can get a Viking fan with me, and we get a Viking Packer.
You might need your own podcast.
No. You can be the mediator. We can go on and on. But no, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for listening to another episode of the Kinni Cast. If you haven't subscribed yet, I know it's still just been a couple episodes, but be sure to find Kinni Cast wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also find it at the City of River Falls website at rfcity.org. And of course, we blast it out on all the social media channels too, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll find it there as well. Until next time, have a great day, River Falls.